Now it's time for our 2x2 segment where we give the tips and advice to entrepreneurs and business owners. Today, we're going to continue on this theme of the sports and entertainment side of things. The question we're posing is, hey, can any league surpass the NFL from a business perspective, from a revenue perspective, from a viewership perspective? Can any league actually get past the NFL? Coach, start it off, and then Dougal, we'll throw it to you.
I think this is a very interesting question from an entrepreneurship perspective and from just a money marketing. We always talk about the different components of a business. When I look at the NFL, I see that they've built a conglomerate, like a real machine here. And I think the only thing that can hurt the NFL is the NFL. If the NFL gets too greedy, which they've shown a propensity to, if they try to continue to increase, first we had 15, 16, 17 games. I hear they're trying to add another one. If they continue to try to move players across the water, the pond, to have games in Germany and in England and etc., sure, those are great and they're going to bring money in and they're going to grow the game. But I think the game of football in and of itself has a limit in terms of what the human body can endure. And I think the more they push that to try to get greedy, one, it's going to oversaturate the market, meaning that they have an event. They don't have just like a game. They have an event every week, right? It's like a Roman Coliseum event every week that everybody religiously tunes into. So in my opinion, the only thing that can hurt the NFL is the greed of the NFL governors.
It's a good take. Dougal, what are your thoughts on it, man?
So I I think yes, there's a possibility only because of the law of diminishing returns, right? You keep watching the same thing over and over and over again. It's the same teams year after year. Yes, there's different players, but I think the NBA has the potential of surpassing it eventually because there's so much talent there that comes in year after year, and they keep changing the rules to allow for higher scoring games, making it more entertaining to watch. So if there's anything out there that can surpass the NFL, I'll say the NBA is the closest right now. Don't know when it will happen, but I think it has the strongest possibility to make it happen. But that's just my take.
No, it's a big deal, Dougal, because it's funny because that's exactly what I thought, right? And Coach and I had the conversation briefly offline about this, and I said a combination of those two things, right? We don't know what happens from a cultural perspective. Like I said, if there's some tragedy in youth football, in college football, in something where it affects the next generation of football players, it's quite possible that this cathedral that is built, right, that the masses are like, maybe we need to stay away from this thing, right? Like maybe this isn't good, even though it's entertaining. Maybe this isn't what we want to support and put our dollars behind. We've seen things like that happen in many different businesses. This is just entrepreneurship. It's you understanding kind of what's the landscape of your demographic, or who your avatar is, so to speak, as a marketing term, right? So with a combination of that, and Dougal, you made a great point with the combination of the NBA going global, right? I know the NFL is trying to, but the NBA has like global superstars, right? And that's going to continue to grow. And if you can start getting viewership in other countries, I don't know how, deep people go into the developmental side of the NBA, but they got these junior NBA leagues all over the world. They have all these people buying in to their best players coming to the NBA and then going back to their country and becoming superstars. I really think from a global perspective, it's quite possible the NBA could push past the NFL. It might need a combination of those two things to happen, like some type of tragedy or falling off on one side, and then the growth of NBA. But I think it's a possibility. I think it's a possibility. Again, don't know when. Maybe not in the near future. Maybe not in the next 5 years. But hey, the next decade potentially we could see some shifts, but not sure. just know from a business perspective, because again, that's why we talk about this on this 2x2. It's talking about the corporate athlete side or just understanding business in general. You have to pay attention. We all went to, if you did go to college or you went, to some type of business school, you talk about that SWOT analysis, right? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The opportunities and threats are external from you. So it's like what's happening out there. And then the strengths and weaknesses are internal. To Coach's point, NFL has a lot of strengths, right? They don't have a ton of weaknesses internally, but the external side, the opportunities that are out there in the global market, the threats of other rising stars, that could be something. Coach, you want to rebut on any of that stuff?
No, not necessarily, because it's your opinion. You have the opportunity to be incorrect. That is okay. And in fact, I believe it's Sonia here on Instagram actually agrees with a couple of the facts that you're putting out there. And I think
Shout out to Sonia Ross.
Yeah, that's real interesting. Sonia, how much did he pay you? All right. With that said, guys, y'all know I'm playing. With that said, though, I think you guys make some good points. I think we shall see. When we speak about the market globally, I think the conversation does shift slightly, or maybe a great deal, actually. But when we're talking about the North American market, I think NFL, it's NFL's to lose, if you will. I think it's NFL to lose. You don't see basketball entrenched on a religious level the way football is. You just don't see that. And you don't see, we have Instagram here, soccer over football. Man, listen,
soccer could.
But that's a different
MLS,
conversation.
unfortunately.
Yeah, not in America, right? That's why we got a segment. What are we talking about? We talking about North America? We talking globally? Globally, soccer already surpasses. That's not even a question. Right, but North America, no, not in my lifetime. My soccer is not surpassed, and I played soccer. That was my sport. All right, but ain't no way that's even getting close. I mean, not even Messi could elevate MSL. I mean, whatever.
MLS,
exactly.
The garbage they putting on television. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I think it's a good point.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Good Life.
If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and like our channel.
If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please leave us a comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast audio version, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you for tuning into The Good Life Show.
We believe that everyone has the potential to live their best life, and we hope our show helps you get that one step closer to achieving your goal.
If you know someone who would benefit from our show, please share it with them, and thank you for your continued support.
That's it for another week's episode here on The Good Life. We'll see you next week for another inspiring conversation.
Welcome to The Good Life.